The studio lights burned like interrogation lamps, pinning Sean Riley to the anchor desk as if he were a suspect in some twisted courtroom drama.
You need to understand the gravity of what you've done.
I'm gay, he said.
There's no turning back from this decision now.
The words tumbling out mid-broadcast. His voice cracking like thunder over the morning show set, forks clattering in the green room, producers frozen in the control booth, and 20 million viewers across America holding their coffee mugs mid-sip. In that split second, the man who'd charmed the nation with his easy grin and unflinching optimism shattered his own facade. And the world shattered right along with him. Sean's hands trembled on the polished mahogany desk, the script for the feel-good segment on summer barbecues forgotten in his lap. He'd rehearsed this 1,000 times in the shower, in the rearview mirror of his Tesla on the FDR drive, whispering it to the ghosts of lovers past who'd slipped away like smoke. But here, under the glare of Good Morning, America, his kingdom for 8 golden years, it felt like swallowing broken glass. The co-host, Lisa Hargrove, stared at him with eyes wide as saucers, her perfectly glossed lips parting in a silent gasp. The camera. The floor director's frantic hand signals blurred into nonsense. Cut to commercial. They mouthed. But Sean couldn't stop. The dam had burst. I can't keep pretending, he continued. His Midwestern baritone, honed in Iowa cornfields and polished in New York newsrooms, now raw and ragged. For too long, I've smiled through stories of straight weddings and baby announcements, hiding the truth that's been eating me alive. I love a man, and that shouldn't end a career built on truth. The red light on camera 1 blinked like a heartbeat, capturing every bead of sweat tracing his temple, every flicker of terror in his blue eyes. 20 million witnesses, housewives in suburban cul-de-sacs, executives nursing hangovers in high-rises, kids scrolling feeds in high school homerooms. The tweet storm ignited before the fade to black, shone out trending faster than a wildfire in California dry season. Backstage, chaos erupted like a bottle rocket. Lisa grabbed his arm, her manicured nails digging in like anchors. What the hell? We had a segment on grilled cheese. Her voice was a hiss, laced with the betrayal of a sister who'd shared greenroom confessions over kale smoothies. But Sean's mind was already fracturing, replaying the morning's catalyst, Alex's text at dawn. Blunt as a gut punch. We need to talk. Tonight. This hiding is killing us. Brooding Alex with the tattooed forearms and poet's soul had been the spark. 6 months of stolen weekends in Sean's Upper West Side brownstone. Bodies tangled in Egyptian cotton sheets. Whispers of forever exchanged under the hum of the city that never sleeps. But New York was a jealous lover, demanding facades as payment for its glittering indifference. Sean had built his empire on authenticity, or so the press releases claimed. Born Sean Michael Riley in Des Moines, 1990, to a Baptist preacher father and a schoolteacher mother who baked apple pies for potlucks. He'd fled the heartland at 18 for the siren call of broadcast journalism. J School at Northwestern, internships at local affiliates, then the rocket ride, weekend weather in Chicago, evening news in Philly, and finally, the Holy Grail, co-anchor on GMA. By 30, he was America's morning man, the guy who'd teared up interviewing foster kids, who'd gone viral hugging a Vietnam vet on air. Sponsors loved him, the network brass called him the everyman with star power. But every man didn't fuck men in the shadows. The betrayal had started small, insidious as rust. First, the anonymous tips to Variety, is GMA's golden boy hiding a boyfriend? Then the paparazzi shadows outside his gym, lenses glinting like predators' eyes. Sean had laughed it off in therapy sessions with Dr. Elena Vasquez, his lifeline in a sea of Botox and boardrooms. "It's the price of visibility," she'd say, her voice a soothing lilt over Zoom from her midtown office. But visibility was a double-edged sword, and Sean's edges were fraying. Alex, a 32-year-old graphic novelist from Brooklyn's Bushwick scene, had pierced the armor with his quiet intensity. They'd met at a fundraiser for the Ali Forney Center, Sean's annual nod to queer youth homelessness, a cause close to his closeted heart. Alex's graphic novel, Shadows in the Stacks, about a librarian falling for a drifter, had caught Sean's eye on a display table. One shared cigarette on the fire escape later, and the world tilted. Their first kiss tasted like rain and rebellion, under the awning of a dive bar in the East Village. "Your trouble," Sean had murmured, heart-hammering as Alex's calloused fingers traced his jaw. "The best kind," Alex replied, his green eyes fierce with the hunger of someone who'd clawed out of foster care hell. They dove in headfirst, lazy Sundays binging The Crown on Sean's king-sized bed. Midnight runs along the Hudson where Alex sketched Sean's profile in charcoal on napkins. Sean felt alive. Unscripted, the man behind the microphone finally breathing. But fame was a jealous god. Alex chafed at the rules: no hand-holding at premieres, no Instagram posts beyond cryptic art quotes. "I'm not your dirty secret," he'd snap during arguments that echoed off exposed brick walls. The tipping point came 2 nights ago. In the dim glow of Sean's living room, jazz crooning from the Alexa. Alex paced like a caged panther, his latest manuscript clutched like a shield. "Your producer called me today," Sean said. "If I distract it, it'll tank the renewal." Mark Hargrove, Lisa's brother, the network's shadow puppeteer, who'd mentored Sean from day one. Balding, boisterous Mark with the corner office and the Rolodex of A-listers. "He's family," Sean had protested. But Alex's laugh was bitter. Family? Or warden? The fight escalated, accusations of cowardice, pleas for patience. Alex stormed out, leaving Sean curled on the leather couch, the city lights mocking him through floor-to-ceiling windows. Dawn brought resolve. Or recklessness, Sean could never tell the difference. He texted Alex, broadcasting truth at 7. "Watch me." No reply. As the crew buzzed around him that morning, gaffers adjusting lights, makeup artists dabbing concealer on his 5 o'clock shadow, Sean's pulse thrummed with a mix of terror and exhilaration. This was his shot at redemption, at bridging the chasm between his public polish and private ache. When the cameras rolled, the words escaped before reason could cage them. The commercial break stretched into eternity. Mark burst onto the set like a bull in a china shop, his face puce under the fluorescence. "You just nuked your career. What the fuck were you thinking?" Spittle flecked Sean's lapel as Mark loomed, his cologne, a cheap Axe knockoff, choking the air. Lisa hovered behind, torn between loyalty and the family empire. "Mark, easy," she murmured, but her eyes screamed questions. Sean stood, all 6'2" of him unfolding like a willow in a gale. "I was thinking about integrity. Something you taught me." The words landed like a slap. Mark's mentorship had been Sean's North Star, late-night script sessions over scotch, pep talks before sweeps weeks. But now, Those memories curdled. By noon, the network statement hit the wires. ABC regrets the personal disclosure during today's broadcast and is evaluating all options. Translation: You're fired. Sean's agent? A shark named Carla Voss. Called from LAX. Her voice a whirlwind. Damage control. We spin this as brave. But sponsors are bolting, Cugs. For the whole lineup. Sean paced his dressing room. The mirror reflecting a ghost, hollow cheeks. Eyes rimmed red from unshed tears. His phone buzzed incessantly, texts from old flames, proud of you. Fans, hero. Trolls, faggot ruin. And Alex? Silence. A void deeper than the grave. He drove home in a daze. The Manhattan traffic a blur of honks and headlights. The brownstone loomed like a sanctuary, its ivy-clad facade whispering promises of solace. Inside, the air hung heavy with the scent of Alex's sandalwood cologne. A half-empty coffee mug on the counter mocking their last domestic bliss. Sean collapsed onto the couch, the weight of the day crashing down. He'd imagined this moment 100 ways, parades of support, viral toasts to courage. Instead, isolation wrapped around him like fog off the East River. Was this freedom, or just the prelude to oblivion? As twilight bled into the skyline, a key scraped in the lock. Alex. Sean's heart lurched. A cocktail of hope and dread. The door swung open. And there he stood, leather jacket slung over one shoulder. Hair tousled from the subway wind. Expression unreadable. Saw the broadcast, Alex said. Voice low. Dropping his keys on the hall table with a clatter that echoed like finality. Sean rose. Arms aching to pull him close. But Alex held up a hand. Don't. We need to talk about us now. The words hung between them, fragile as spun glass. Sean nodded. Throat tight. I did it for us. For me. No more hiding. Alex's laugh was hollow, echoing off the hardwood floors. He shrugged off his jacket, revealing the faded Radiohead tee that Sean loved, the one that smelled like home. Brave? Or selfish? You didn't even warn me. The accusation stung. Sharper than network knives. Sam stepped closer. The space between them electric with unspoken hurts. I couldn't. If I hesitated, I'd chicken out. Like always, Alex's green eyes, usually so steady, flickered with something dark, resentment, fear. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing to the window where rain now pattered against the glass. Mark called again. Offered me a book deal if I distance myself. Said it'd protect your brand. Sean's blood ran cold. But the betrayer in plain sight? But Alex's tone twisted the knife deeper. And I thought about it, Sean, for a second. Because loving you in the spotlight? It's like loving a ghost. The room spun. Sean reached for him, fingers brushing Alex's arm. But Alex flinched away. Don't make me the villain here. But in that flinch, Sean saw the fracture lines, the imbalance of their worlds. Alex's underground grit clashing with Sean's celluloid shine. They talked, or argued, until the city lights twinkled like distant stars, voices rising and falling in waves. Alex confessed his own demons, the foster kid scars, the fear that Sean's fame would eclipse him. Sean bared his soul, the preacher's son guilt, the terror of losing the only family he'd built. By midnight, they collapsed into bed, bodies seeking solace where words failed, the rain a lullaby to their fragile truce. But dawn brought no clarity, only the buzz of Sean's phone, a voicemail from Mark. "We can fix this, Sean. Come. Let's talk salvage." Optimism flickered, faint as a pilot light. Sean dressed in his best suit, the navy Armani that made him feel invincible, and kissed Alex's forehead, whispering, "This is our beginning." Alex stirred, murmuring assent, his hand lingering on Sean's hip. As the elevator descended to the street, Sean steeled himself. Little did he know, the real storm was brewing not in boardrooms, but in the heart he'd just laid bare. The ABC headquarters on Columbus Avenue gleamed like a monolith of glass and ambition. Its lobby a cathedral of marble and muted ambition where power suits whispered deals over lattes. Sean strode through the revolving doors, chin high, the click of his loafers a metronome to his resolve. Paparazzi swarmed the entrance like locusts, flashes popping like gunfire. "Sean, is it true about the boyfriend? Will you apologize on air?" He kept his gaze forward, a practiced smile masking the nausea churning in his gut. Security herded him to the elevators, the brass doors sealing him in silence as he ascended to the executive floor. Mark's office was a shrine to excess, framed Emmys on mahogany shelves, a Warhol print of Marilyn smirking from the wall, floor-to-ceiling views of Central Park where joggers looked like ants. Mark rose from his leather throne, all bear hugs and backslaps, as if yesterday's implosion were a mere wardrobe malfunction. "Kid, you look like hell." See. He gestured to the club chair opposite his desk, piled with contracts and coffee-ringed memos. Sean perched on the edge, spine rigid. "Mark, about the broadcast." Mark waved it off, pouring 2 fingers of Glenfiddich from a crystal decanter. "Water under the bridge. Networks eat scandal for breakfast. We spin you as the hero, courage in the morning light. Lisa's on board, she's drafting the joint statement." His eyes, small and shrewd behind wire-rimmed glasses, twinkled with calculation. Sean accepted the glass, the scotch burning a path to his stomach. Relief warred with suspicion. Mark had always been the fixer, the uncle who'd snuck him beers at company picnics. But Alex's words echoed, "Warden." They talked strategy for an hour, a primetime special on coming out in the age of TikTok, guest spots on Ellen reruns, a memoir deal with Simon & Schuster. Mark leaned back, steepling his fingers. "But here's the rub. Sean, the boyfriend. Alex, right? The artsy type." Sean's grip tightened on the glass, the ice clinking like warning bells. "What about him?" Mark's smile didn't reach his eyes. "He's a liability. No offense, love who you love, but optics matter. Ditch the drama, and you're back on air by fall sweeps." The air thickened, charged as a summer squall. "Ditch? You mean hide him again?" Sean's voice rose, edged with the Iowa twang he usually suppressed. Mark shrugged, casual as ordering takeout. "Call it discretion. We've got history, you and me. I made you. Good. Don't throw it away on some Bushwick fling." Rage bloomed in Sean's chest, hot and unfamiliar. This was the man who'd toasted his first Emmy, who'd buried his own divorce scandals to protect the family brand. Betrayal tasted like bile. "Alex isn't a fling. And you don't get to dictate my heart." Mark's facade cracked. A flush creeping up his neck. Hart, this is business. The truth just cost us 10 mil in ad revenue. He slammed a tablet on the desk. Screens glowing with boycott petitions and sponsor pullouts. Sen stod. The chair scraping like a verdict. Then find a new face for your machine. I'm done playing puppet. He stormed out. The door thudding shut behind him. Marx shouts, "You'll regret this," muffled by the corridor's hush. The elevator descent felt like freefall. Sean's reflection in the polished walls mocked him, disheveled tie. Eyes blazing with a fire he'd long suppressed. Freedom. Yes, but at what cost? His phone vibrated, a text from Lisa. Mark's pissed. Call me. Then another. From an unknown number, a link to TMZ. Heart sinking. He clicked. Grainy photos splashed across the screen. Him and Alex. Locked in that East Village kiss. Time-stamped months ago. Below. A quote, Sean Riley's been living a double life. Time the fans knew the real story. Anonymous source. But Sean's gut twisted with certainty. The mentor turned Judas, leaking the proof to bury him deeper. He hailed a cab to the brownstone. The city a smear of neon and noise. Rain slicked the streets, mirroring the tears he refused to shed. Alex was waiting, sketchpad in hand, charcoal smudges on his fingers like war paint. How'd it go? He asked, setting aside his work, a rough outline of Sean's face. Fierce and unmasked. Sean collapsed beside him, the story spilling out in a torrent, Mark's ultimatum. The photos. The venom. Alex listened, jaw clenched, then pulled him close, lips brushing his temple. Screw them. We build our own spotlight. They made love that afternoon. Slow and deliberate, reclaiming each inch of skin as territory. Sean's body arched under Alex's touch, gasps mingling with rain's rhythm on the roof. In those moments, doubt dissolved, Alex's whispers, "You're enough," a balm to the wounds fame had carved. But the fallout cascaded like dominoes. By evening, Cancel Sean trended alongside Stand With Sean. The internet a coliseum of gladiators. Carla called with damage tallies, lost endorsements, cancelled appearances, whispers of blacklisting. Lay low. Punish. Healing. Though. Felt like exile. Sean and Alex holed up, ordering Thai from the place on Amsterdam with the killer pad CEB. They talked dreams deferred, Sean's boyhood fantasy of writing novels, Alex's unpublished sequels gathering dust. One night, over cheap Merlot, Alex confessed, "I almost took the deal." Mark's offer. "Thought it'd launch my book without dragging you down." Sean's heart stuttered, but he saw the truth in Alex's eyes, not malice, but the grind of survival. And Alex set down his glass, hand finding Sean's across the table. "Couldn't. Loving you means choosing the mess." They clinked glasses, a pact sealed in vulnerability. Yet shadows lingered. Sean's mother called from Des Moines, voice quavering over static. "The church is buzzing, son. But I'm proud." Always. Tears pricked his father's silence, a chasm wider than the Mississippi. Weeks blurred into a haze of rejection letters and half-hearted auditions. Sean volunteered at the Ali Forney Center, reading to kids with stories of knights who loved knights, their wide eyes a mirror to his own reclaimed youth. Alex's novel hit indie shelves. Dedication reading. Who showed me the light in the lie. Reviews trickled in, glowing from the Paris Review. Scathing from tabloids tying it to Sean's scandal. One afternoon, a package arrived. Mark's doing, no doubt. Inside, a severance check and a note, for old times. Don't be a stranger. Rage simmered, but Sean cashed it, using the funds for a down payment on a cabin in the Catskills, a retreat from the city's claws. They drove up that weekend, winding roads flanked by fiery maples. Alex's hand on Sean's thigh the whole way. The cabin was rustic charm, stone fireplace, creaky porch overlooking a lake like glass. They hiked trails slick with fallen leaves, Alex sketching wildflowers while Sean journaled by the water, words flowing freer than in years. Evenings. They cooked, burnt trout and oversalted greens, laughing until sides ached. "This is us," Alex said one night. Stars wheeling overhead as they lay on a blanket. "No cameras. No scripts." Sean believed it. Almost. But Betrayal's echo lingered. A low hum beneath the idol. Back in the city, a letter arrived from an old colleague, Mark's promoting a new host. Straight-laced kid from Texas. Says you're damaged goods. The wound reopened. Festering. Sean confronted his reflection, fists clenched. Was this the end, faded glory in a one-bedroom with the man he loved? Or the beginning of something truer than the call that upended it all? Carla. Breathless. Podcast offer. Huge. Out loud, stories from the closet. They want your voice. Sean. Raw. Hesitation flickered, exposure's double blade, but Alex squeezed his hand. Tell our story. The real one. Recording day dawned crisp. The studio in Chelsea a cocoon of microphones and soundproof foam. Sean spoke for hours. The Iowa boy. The hidden heartaches. Mark's knife in the back. Alex waited outside, thumbing through a dog-eared copy of Giovanni's Room. When Sean emerged, voice hoarse, Alex pulled him into a fierce kiss. Proud doesn't cover it. The episode dropped to acclaim, downloads spiking like a fever. Invites followed, TEDx talks, Pride panels, even a Netflix docuseries pitch. But success's shadow loomed. Alex grew distant, sketches piling up unfinished. It's swallowing you again, he muttered one night. Eyes on his phone, endless notifications pinging Sean's rising star. Sean reached for him, but Alex pulled away. I need space. To breathe without your orbit. The words landed like frost. Space? After everything? Sean nodded, throat burning, watching Alex pack a duffel for his Bushwick sublet. This isn't goodbye, Alex said at the door. But his eyes lied. The latch clicked, and Sean slid down the wall, sobs racking him in the empty hall. Betrayal. Not from without, but from the heart he trusted most. The man who'd vowed the mess was worth it had fled when the mess got messy. Grief hollowed him, days bleeding into nights of takeout and true crime docs. Vasquez urged movement. Feel it, but don't drown. He walked the high line at dawn. The Hudson's gleam a reminder of resilience. Friends rallied. With apologies and wine, queer icons like Billy Porter, sharing war stories over brunch. Darling. Betrayal's the tax on love. Pay it. Then invest in yourself. Months passed. Autumn yielding to winter's bite. Sean's podcast evolved into a movement, listeners emailing tales of their own shatterings. One letter gutted him, a teen from rural Ohio. Your voice saved me. Human connection. Fragile threads weaving a new safety net. Then, spring thawed the ice. At a book launch in Soho, Alex's new graphic novel, Fractured Frames, Sean attended, uninvited but undeterred. The crowd buzzed. Alex on stage, charismatic as ever, reading passages laced with their ghosts. Their eyes met across the room. A current pulling taut. In the alley behind the venue, Alex lit a cigarette, offering one to Sean. You came. Smoke curled between them. A veil for old wounds. Had to see if you'd grown, Sean replied. Voice steady. Alex exhaled, gaze dropping. I ran. Scared shitless of losing myself in you. Confession hung heavy. But Sean felt no venom, only pity. And release. You never lost yourself. I did that. Clinging too tight. They talked until the city stilled. Barriers crumbling like Berlin Wall rubble. No grand reunion. But a bridge rebuilt, coffee dates. Tentative sketches of friendship. Sean dated, a barista with a poet's lilt. An activist with firebrand eyes, but none ignited like Alex once had. The Real spark came from within, a manuscript. Morning after the mask. His memoir inked with blood and balm. Publishers clamored. He chose the indie press that backed Alex. Summer scorched Manhattan. The air thick with asphalt heat and the sizzle of street vendors' carts. Sean's book tour kicked off at an indie bookstore in Brooklyn. The kind with creaky floors and cat hair on the armchairs. He read from the chapter on Mark's betrayal. Voice steady as he described the photo's sting, the kiss immortalized. Twisted into ammunition. The audience. A tapestry of queer elders and wide-eyed millennials. Nodding like congregants at a revival. Q&A flowed. Questions on resilience. On loving post-loss. A drag queen in the front row quipped. Honey. Betrayal's just plot twist. What's your sequel? Laughter rippled. But Sean's smile hid the ache. Sequel? He was still scripting Act 2. Alex texted congrats. A simple killed it. Beers? They met at a dive in Williamsburg. Neon Budweiser sign buzzing like fireflies. Over IPAs. Alex flipped through a signed copy. Fingers tracing Sean's inscription, to the muse who taught me flight. This about me? He asked. Vulnerability cracking his cool. Sensitive. Foam clinging to his upper lip. Partly. But it's mine now. They didn't kiss. But the air hummed with possibility, ghosts laid to rest. Or at least napping. The tour whirlwind swept Sean coast to coast, Seattle coffee shops where baristas quoted Baldwin, panels with Hollywood outcasts sharing war stories of typecasting. In San Francisco, at a Castro Pride event, he spoke to a sea of rainbow flags. Voice breaking on the line, coming out isn't a gift to the world, it's survival. Cheers erupted. Confetti raining like blessings. Backstage, a producer approached, HBO special. Your story? Unfiltered. Sean hesitated, fame's siren song again, but nodded. This time, on his terms. Homecomings were harder. The brownstone felt vast without Alex's clutter. But Sean filled it with life, Dinner parties with misfit friends? A rescue pup named Milo who snored like a freight train. Lisa reconciled fully, co-hosting a charity gala where she toasted to Sean, the brother who taught me truth over ratings. The ghost? Demoted after internal probes into the leak. Whisper said he drank too much now. Haunting industry bars with tales of ungrateful protégés. Sean pitied him, the man who'd shaped him into a blade, only to dull on his own edge. Autumn brought the HBO greenlight, filming starting in a Tribeca loft rigged with lights softer than studio glare. Sean directed the narrative, Iowa flashbacks shot in golden hour fields. New York montages of rain-slick streets symbolizing isolation. Alex consulted on visuals, his graphic eye lending a novel's intimacy, split screens of Sean's dual lives. Metaphors of locked closets bursting open. Their collaboration was electric, boundaries blurring over late-night edits. One evening, wine loosening tongues, Alex admitted, running was my biggest regret. Sean met his gaze. Heart a drum. Mine was letting you define my worth. They tumbled into bed that night. Tentative at first, fingers exploring familiar terrain with new reverence. No rush. No hiding, just two men reclaiming stolen time. Mornings after. Coffee brewed strong. Milo curled at their feet. But Sean sensed undercurrents. Alex's sketches now featured solitary figures. Journeys inward. You okay? Sean asked one dawn. Tracing the tattoo on Alex's ribcage, a compass rose, pointing nowhere. Alex smiled. Faith. Learning to navigate solo. The special premiered at Sundance. Critics hailing it, a queer the morning show with soul. Standing ovations. Teary hugs from strangers. Back in New York. After parties swirled. But Sean slipped away to the high bridge. Alex at his side. The city sprawled below. A constellation of dreams deferred and reclaimed. What's next? Alex murmured. Wind tousling his hair. Sean leaned into him. The East River glittering like promise. Whatever that means. Winter deepened the bond. Snow blanketing the brownstone in hush. They co-wrote op-eds for The Atlantic. Voices intertwining on topics like media hypocrisy and love's quiet revolutions. Sean's podcast hit 1 million subs. Guests ranging from RuPaul to rural pastors reconciling faith and identity. Alex's third novel dropped. A semi-autobiographical epic of fractured loves mending in margins. Dedication. The anchor who let me sail. But fractures re-emerge. Subtle as stress cracks in glass. Alex grew restless. Brooklyn calls pulling him to readings and collaborators. Arguments flared. You're slipping back into your cave, Sean accused. Voice laced with old fears. Alex fired back. And you're building walls of spotlights. The air crackled. Echoes of their first storm. One February night. After a gala where Sean keynote on visibility's cost. Alex waded up. Eyes stormy. That producer tonight? Flirting hard. You glowed. Jealousy? Raw and unfiltered. Sean laughed. Bitter. Glowed? I was networking survival. But Alex's hurt ran deeper. Unearthed scars from foster abandonments. Feels like I'm the side character again. The fight escalated. Words as weapons. Sean's, you left once, don't make it twice. Alex's, you never let me stay. By morning, Alex was gone. Duffel in hand. A note on the counter, need to find my north. Love you still. devastation crashed anew, sharper for its familiarity. Sean wandered the apartment, Milo's wine his only companion. Vasquez's words replayed. Betrayal from within isn't just others, it's our fears betraying us. He journaled furiously, pages filling with rage and revelation. Alex hadn't betrayed him this time, Sean's insecurity had. A ghost from the closet days. Calls to friends yielded tough love. Lisa, fight for him. Idiot, and solitary walks in snow-dusted parks, where clarity dawned like sun on frost. He drove to Bushwick unannounced, the warehouse district a labyrinth of graffiti and grit. Alex's door, scarred and defiant, swung open to surprise. Sean, Alex blinked, paint-splattered overalls hugging his frame. No anger, just weariness. They sat on milk crates amid half-finished canvases, the space alive with chaos Sean envied. I get it now, Sean started, voice steady. The orbit. I pulled too hard because I feared empty space. Alex nodded, tears carving tracks through dust on his cheek. And I ran because space felt like loss. Forgiveness flowed, not as fairy tale, but as human mess, promises to therapy together, boundaries drawn like maps. They returned to the brownstone as partners. Not prisoners, Alex's studio in the spare room. Sean's scripts shared over breakfast. Spring bloomed. Tentative. A joint project emerged, a graphic memoir. Their words and art weaving betrayal's tapestry into triumph's thread. Yet the world intruded, as it does. Mark resurfaced via email, heard about the special. Pleasant. Coffee? Curiosity warred with caution, but Sean agreed, neutral ground. A Soho cafe humming with tourists. Mark looked diminished, paunch softer, eyes webbed with regret. I was wrong, he admitted over black coffee, steam curling like confessions. Feared you'd eclipse me. Leaked to clip your wings. Sean listened. No venom. Only understanding, the man's empire built on control, crumbling under authenticity's weight. I forgive you, Sean said, the words light as release. Mark's shoulders sagged. A dam breaking. Means the world. Kid. They parted with a handshake. Not hugs, history honored. Not revived. Sean walked out into sunlight, freer than before. Betrayal's sting faded to lessen. Even villains are human, adrift in their own storms. Summer festivals called. Sean and Alex road-tripping to Fire Island for Pride readings. Bodies bronzed by beach days. Nights alive with bonfires and bass. Love deepened. Rooted now in equality, Alex's voice as vital as Sean's. Their home a haven of mutual muse. But whispers of doubt lingered. Sean's career ascended. Offers piling like autumn leaves. A late-night talk by the fireplace. If it pulls us apart again? Alex traced Sean's palm. We choose each other. Every damn day. Fall painted the Catskills in fire. Leaves crunching under tires as Sean and Alex retreated to the cabin for a writing sabbatical. The air crisp with pine and possibility. They claimed the porch's command center, laptops humming. Milo chasing squirrels in the underbrush. Sean's memoir sequel took shape. Chapters on redemption's quiet work, Alex's illustrations breathed life into the prose. Strokes bold and tender. Evenings. They hiked to the lake. Skipping stones and secrets, Alex's fear of paternal voids. Sean's lingering pulpit shadows. We're building legacy, Sean murmured one dusk. Alex's head on his shoulder. Not just surviving it. Back in the city, the graphic memoir launched to fanfare, unscripted hearts, climbing NYT lists, panels packed with devotees dissecting its layers. Critics praised the humanism, a testament to love's betrayals and rebirths. Book tours tandem now. Sean moderating Alex's signings. Their banter a highlight. He draws, I talk. Perfect imbalance. Laughter masked the work, the couple's counseling in DR. Vasquez's office. Unpacking Trust's fragile architecture. Thanksgiving brought family, Sean's mother from Iowa. Her apple pie a bridge across divides, Alex's chosen kin. A ragtag crew of artists and activists. Toasting with spiked cider. The table groaned under turkey and truths. Stories swapped like heirlooms. You two shine, Sean's mom said. Eyes misty. Squeezing hands across the linen. His father's absence loomed. But a letter arrived mid-meal, stiff stationery. Preacher's script, proud of your courage? Son. Doors open. Not absolution, but invitation. Enough. Winter holidays glittered. The brownstones strung with lights. Milo sporting a Santa hat. They hosted a queer youth dinner. Teens from Ali Forney sharing dreams over lax. One boy, eyes like Sean's at 18, whispered, Your story made me brave. Sean choked up. Alex's arm a steady anchor. In bed later, bodies warm under quilts. Sean confessed. This is the plot twist I never saw. Alex's kiss was answer enough, deep, firming. A vow renewed. Spring unfurled with opportunity, a network olive branch. Not ABC but PBS. Offering a docuseries on media and identity. Sean helmed it. Alex as creative consultant. Their vision uncompromised. Filming wove through heartland diners and Hollywood backlots. Voices amplified from margins. Premiere night. At the Beacon Theater. The crowd roared, standing O that shook the rafters. Backstage. Champagne fizzing. Alex pulled Sean aside. We did this. Together. But life's script twists. Summer heat wave hit. And with it, Alex's diagnosis, early-stage lymphoma. Caught on a routine checkup. The word landed like thunderclap in the oncologist's sterile office. Charts and stats blurring through tears. Treatable, the doc assured. High remission rates. Yet fear coiled. Serpentine, echoes of Alex's foster losses. Sean's career crashes. Hospital runs became routine. Chemo suites with beeping monitors. Alex's hand clammy in Sean's. Not leaving you, Alex rasped. Bald head gleaming under fluorescence. Humor his shield. Got sequels to draw. Sean became sentinel, soups simmered. Scripts read aloud during infusions. Milo a furry therapist at bedside. Friends rallied. Lisa fundraising galas. Carla wrangling celebrity cameos for morale videos. Mark even sent flowers. Note terse, kick its ass. Betrayal's scar faded to footnote. Through vigils, Sean journaled, love isn't absence of storm, it's dancing in the rain. Alex's remission came swift. Scans clear by fall. But the ordeal etched them deeper, vulnerabilities forge. Tempering fragility into fortitude. They marked it with a vow renewal. Not Vegas glitz but Central Park quiet, under the Bethesda fountain. Witnesses a handful of souls. Rings exchanged simple gold. In sickness, In fame's folly, Sean promised. Alex grinned. Weak but wicked, in betrayal and breakthrough. Laughter bubbled, sealing the right. No fanfare. But the world noted, a quiet Instagram post. Hearts flooding in waves. Years folded forward. The brownstone evolving, nursery whispers as adoption papers processed. A daughter named Riley arriving from foster care. Her giggles filling halls once haunted by hollows. Sean's Series 1 Peebitus. Alex's graphic novels optioned for indie films. They mentored, Sean guest lecturing at J-School. Alex teaching workshops on authentic art. Betrayal's receded to prologue, marks a cautionary tale at panels. Alex's Flight, a chapter on growth. On Sean's 40th, a surprise party in the cabin, friends from coasts converging. Milo deckt in Partyhut. Toasts rang, to the host who'd lost all and found more. Alex's gift, a bound sketchbook. Their life illustrated, hooks of heartbreak. Climaxes of courage. Endings open. Our greatest story, he whispered, pulling Sean close amid cheers. The lake mirrored stars. A canvas of continuity. In quiet moments, Sean reflected, the broadcast's chaos birthed this bounty. Loving a man cost his crown. But betrayal, from mentor's blade. Lover's lapse. Self's sabotage, honed his humanity. America, vast and vexed, had watched him fall. Now, it witnessed the rise, not flawless, but fiercely felt. As Riley's laughter echoed from the loft, Alex's arms around him, Sean knew the truest plot twist was grace, unearned and unending.